eno ye Extra Media UJ. Subscribe for all updates.
But what was your own experience at the election is what we would want you to share with us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure and honor to be here today. My name is Nina Kankunda, and I'm the Woman MP Flag Bearer, National Unity Platform for Sembabule District. Am I allowed to speak in Luganda? Fena tutegeera Luganda. Thank you. My experience wasn't really good, I'll be honest. Nze kiri kye nalabako tekaali kalulu lwali lutalo. Olutalo lwenjogerako nti n'obulamu bwagenderamu. Ne wenjogerera eggulu abantu babiri bafudde. Ate nga bavubuka mu Sembabule Town Council. My agents were beaten badly. Some were arrested. Some are nowhere to be seen, even to date. It was my first time in this, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't advise any youth to engage in politics of Uganda because I've personally experienced that it is indeed a dirty game. So many youth would really love and bandyagadde taking a part in politics because eddibu ddyoddene ate n'abavubuka nkiwa tulina obusobozi okubaako eddoboozi bantu. Naye politics wa Uganda akutiisa n'akwennyamiza ng'omuvubuka enze mu rekodi nti ngenda kugamba n'abaliddako nti gavumenti eno teyatuwa chance okukiikirira abantu mu mazima ne mu bwenkanya. Abantu bangi aba agents bange bakyasibiddwa e Sembabule era kantwala akakisa kano nsabe ku abalawyers abali wano kuba essuubi lyaffe liremu mmwe kati. Twagala kubalaba nga mukola. Bwe kuba kwekalakaasa mu ababa basooka ku mwanjo kuba mmanyi ne state tebaganya kukola omulimu gwammwe naye tubasaba mu essuubi lyokka. So many of my agents are at the police station in Sembabule. Tebalina musango naye bakyabagaanidde mpaka ne kati. Abo abantu abaliyo, they are breadwinners for families. They were playing part because they love their country. We didn't buy them. I personally, ng'omuntu abadde yeesimbyewo ku lw'enkyukakyuka mbasaba mulowooze ku Sembabule. Wenjogerera Sembabule is a hot spot. Nti bw'ogendayo mazima ddala oyinza okwebuuza lwaki tulonda. Nze mbadde nsaba nsinziirire wano nsabe gavumenti ejjewo ebyokulonda. If it is costing people's lives, it's not worth it. We think and we deserve to have free and fair elections. But if it is costing the lives of people the way I saw, it was my first time, and up to now I can't sleep. I can't even eat. I can't even imagine the country we are living in. Because if it is costing people's lives, mostly the youth, then let there not be elections. Let the ruling party rule until it feels it has ruled enough. But let the people live, because I personally believe and trust every people, every life matters. Thank you so much.
I am honored to address you today on behalf of the ULS President and the head of the bar, Isaac Chimaze Semakade. Senior Council to mark the opening of the new law year of the Uganda Law Society, which also serves as the 70th anniversary of the National Bar Association for Uganda. The Uganda Law Society makes 70 years of existence. Our radical new bar president, Isaac Semakade, is currently indisposed. He should have addressed you. But due to ill health, he is unable to speak to us in person at this event. But he has asked me to convey his greetings to all of you, as well as his gratitude for the support you have given to the R&B Governing Council in the past year, radicalizing the bar under our 4Ds agenda. His only request is that you keep him in your prayers and best wishes for the future. As you all may recall, last year on the 7th of February 2025, despite appearing on the program, the president of the Uganda Law Society was unceremoniously denied an opportunity to speak at the opening of the new lawyer event at the court headquarters. That's the headquarters of the judiciary. The bar, in an essential component in the realization of a democratic society that guarantees respect for human rights and ensures access to justice for all. To exclude the bar from a forum meant to audit government's obligations to the public and reflect on the state of justice is constitutionally absurd and very unfortunate. It is precisely because of this exclusion that the Uganda Law Society has chosen to hold its own opening of the new law year celebrations to speak openly about the realities confronting both our members and the public we serve, and to place before the nation a true and fair audit of their governance, as well as the fundamental issues affecting justice delivery that cannot be ignored. By silencing the bar, you're denying the public knowledge of this information, which is very wrong. And for that reason, we decided to hold this event, because we believe the public has the right to know. The beneficiaries of these events are the members of the public. It's not just us, the lawyers. It's not just the judges, the members of the judiciary, or employees of government, but rather members of the public who we serve. So for that reason, we chose to focus on two critical urgent themes that are affecting the rule of law, access to justice, and administration generally. The first one being practicing law amid military rule. Practicing law amid military rule. The legal profession in Uganda currently operates in an environment heavily overshadowed by excessive militarization, where military forces and militarized tactics increasingly intrude our civilian justice processes, democratic exercises, and an independent practice of law. The government is imposing state of emergency-like measures nationwide, citing national security as an excuse. But this is being done without the necessary constitutional and statutory checks. You may recall the recent shutdown of the internet and social media, which had catastrophic effects on the delivery of goods and services to the people. Meanwhile, the office of the DPP and the courts seem complicit in this move, as recently seen in their draconian handling of cases like the blanket sanctioning of trumped-up charges, the blanket denial of bond, bail, and habeas corpus for protesters and government critics, and the routinization of delay in fixing cases challenging government-initiated restrictions on free speech, public gatherings, and other human rights concerns, resulting in effective approval of authoritarianism. These actions by justice, law, and order institutions suggest a pattern of rubber stamping excessive decisions rather than acting as an independent check on power. During the recently concluded elections, this unwarranted militarization manifested starkly through the widespread deployment of military personnel in what should remain purely civilian and democratic spaces. Lawyers alongside ordinary citizens faced unlawful arrests, violence, intimidation, and coercion. Prominent human rights defenders have been systematically targeted. NGOs and CSOs arbitrarily suspended. Activists arbitrarily arrested, detained, assaulted, and are now likely to be tried in military courts for performing their professional or civic duties. And these are actions that undermine the independence of the bar and the rule of law in the country. The Uganda Law Society is right now dealing with an alarming surge in enforced disappearances, abductions, extrajudicial killings, and prolonged pretrial detention. This follows reports of thousands of arrested around the elections and tens of hundreds summarily executed, often in military-involved operations, highlighting a growing concern over human rights abuses. At least we've seen the CDF post about this, talking about the arrests and the killings, though what we may not be sure of are the numbers that are being mentioned out there. There's also this major challenge of denial or severe restriction of bail. We all know that bail is a fundamental constitutional right. And now it has become routine, transforming it from a norm into an exceptional privilege granted sparingly, prolonging suffering for detainees and their families. This has caused many Ugandan court users to wonder and complain angrily. What are lawyers for if courts won't listen to them or adhere to the basic principles of law, such as the right to bail, preferring instead to adhere to state expediency or convenience? And this has been a daily routine. We are learning that right now, getting bail from any court is a privilege of a few. Courts are being used by the state to punish civilians. It's almost impossible to get bail, even on the simplest of the cases, because the excuse usually is it's a political case, there are orders from above. Yet we talk of an independent judiciary. That's what the Constitution says, that's what is envisaged in the Constitution. But what is the reality on ground? And this worries us as the bar, as the National Bar Association, and it should also worry the citizens. This has further exacerbated the problem of prison overcrowding, which has reached crisis proportions, exacerbated by the police to prison pipeline that funnels large numbers into extended remand without timely court conclusions, compounding inhumane conditions and violating rights to speedy justice. Just yesterday, I was speaking to someone who came out of detention and informed me that on the day of election, the 15th, the prison where he was detained was filled beyond capacity, that they couldn't even sleep. There was no way. People were just brought and sent in prison. They were just pushed there. That's the situation in the prisons, which are already overcrowded. Unfortunately, these people are taken through the court process, through police, DPP, courts, automatically remanded. The other big issue is militarization of justice, which in itself persists through attempts to prosecute civilians in military tribunals. As recently seen in the inauguration of office bearers at the General Court Martial, despite a Supreme Court ruling against it, entrenching repression, denying fair trial standards, and intimidating legal practitioners who defend dissenters. Another troubling issue is the shrinking civic space in Uganda. And you may also recall that 2 days to the national election, that was on 13th January, the NGO Bureau suspended the operating permits of several civil society organizations under vague claims of national security. That has always been the excuse. To date, these suspensions remain in force, effectively silencing organizations that play a vital role in governance, human rights, and public accountability. These are attempts to intimidate, weaken, and silence civil society, whose role we all understand very well. These are not isolated incidents or abstract policy concerns. They represent lived traumas, shattered livelihoods, terrified families, eroded community trust in justice institutions, and a chilling effect on lawyers' willingness to take politically sensitive cases. I believe most of our colleagues shun away from taking part in some of these cases because they will be victimized, because they will be considered to be part of that. And this has killed legal practice in this country so badly that lawyers also tend to go in hiding because of what's happening. The statutory mandate of the bar to advise the public on legal matters and uphold the rule of law compels us to speak plainly. And this is what we are doing. Uganda's excessive militarization of civilian and judicial spheres inflicts deep, systematic harm on human rights, democratic integrity, and the legal profession's ability to function independently. And this is what we have to say, that there are no easy fixes for this mess. Only a radical new bar can step up and kickstart proportionate resistance and resilience efforts. And today's dialogue is the starting point. We should stop pretending, holding events where we're just cutting ribbons and smiling and eating and enjoying, when Ugandans are actually out there suffering and they are looking at us. We are their only hope. If the justice sector cannot protect the citizens, then who will protect them? At least with the basics. Now, the second focus of today's program is the launch of the Uganda Law Society's Election Observation Report, a product of extensive national engagement and professional commitment by our membership. In these recently conducted general elections, several ULS advocates, whom we shall recognize and we do appreciate, including myself, should clap for me, were accredited as election observers and deployed across different regions of the country. And this role, the observation role, was systematically documented and submitted to the society. And why I actually asked for you to clap for me and the other members of the bar, we did, as the Radical New Bar, establish a rapid response team of lawyers, supported by a toll-free telephone line, which we opened to the public. As you're aware, internet had been shut down. We had actually also created a WhatsApp line. And because we had seen the patterns from campaigns, from the time of nomination throughout campaigns, the injustices being meted out on citizens, we saw this coming. That's why we established the rapid response team. And these are lawyers who offer to participate before we leave here, they read out for us the names of the lawyers. We called them out, and these ones chose to volunteer. There was no pay for this. They're in different parts of the country, different courts, police stations, using their own money and resources and their time. In many parts of the country, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, Kampala, Wakiso, Mbale, Mpigi, Arua, and many other districts. And these people, these members of the bar, offered free legal services to these individuals. Every time we received a call, we looked for the nearest advocate. Those ones who offered to give support. You must have seen some of them around. So, the report we launched today is grounded in first-hand observation, verified public reports, legal intervention, and the actual work, the people who did this work, some of whom are with us in this room, who went to the trenches, including myself, and saw what was happening, the different police stations, the strange cases that were being, put on these people, and the manner in which the courts chose to deal with this issue. So, colleagues, as we open this new law year, the Uganda Law Society, under the Radical New Bar leadership, reaffirms its commitment to the rule of law, democracy, and the protection of human rights. We also reaffirm that justice in Uganda cannot be advanced through exclusion, silence, or unilateralism. It requires honest dialogue, mutual respect, and the meaningful participation of all institutions entrusted with its administration. None of these institutions yields more power than the other, because we all strive for the same thing. We serve the citizens of the country. We therefore extend our hand to the judiciary in the spirit of constitutional partnership, but we also state firmly and without apology that the voice of the bar will not be silenced for God and my country. Thank you for listening to me.